There's been a development. Last year I missed my office's Halloween party because I was stupid and I double booked myself, and I swore to myself that this year I wouldn't make the same mistake again. But because of the recession, yes, the recession, I won't have a job until after October. But that's not gonna stop me from making a Halloween costume. Let's go. March 18th, 2023. I bought this shirt. Sorry, this needs some explanation. I love the game Stray, and I thought Momo's sense of fashion was particularly swagalicious, so I thought I would make something of a casual Momo outfit. I already had a red tank top and coppery pants, and all I really needed to complete the look was a flamingo shirt, which was strangely hard to find given the sea of patterned button-ups at every single thrift store. But I managed to find one, and I also made these earrings out of cell phone charms. I really enjoyed my casual Momo look, but then I decided to challenge myself. I wanted to make a full-blown Momo costume for my office Halloween party, and I wanted its face to be an actual screen, and I wanted an orange cat bag to polish off the whole look. But how are you going to use an actual screen? Well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves yet. First, I have to make the headpiece. I got these fancy foam boards from a garage sale for $3. I measured my head and cut out these pieces and left a space in the center for the screen to show through. For simplicity, I did consider using glow-in-the-dark paint or an image lit up with fancy RGB lights, but in the end, I just really wanted an actual screen. I wanted to be able to cycle through some different expressions and have some cool glitching effects and even some sounds. So I unearthed my super old tablet from high school and animated the expressions in After Effects and downloaded the video onto the tablet. But then, problems. So I managed to get the face playing on my tablet. The problem now will be figuring out how to loop it. Unfortunately, I could not get the video to loop, so in the end, my only solution was to re-render the faces as a 10-minute pre-looped video. The other problem, as you may have already guessed, is that having a tablet right in front of my face severely impedes my ability to see, and I don't have x-ray vision, and the last thing I want to do is to trip on the dance floor and smash my costume on the beer sticky floor. I needed a way to see around the tablet, and that's when I remembered that periscopes are a thing that exists. So I made a periscope. It's a little crooked, but what can you do when you don't want to spend money? And attach that to the inside of the headpiece. Now yes, this does make the headpiece extremely long in order to accommodate this piece of hardware, and the weight of the tablet will be so far forward to the point where it will just start tilting the whole headpiece off my head. But I had a plan. I found an old decrepit bicycle helmet from the garage with the intention of harvesting the straps and somehow attaching them to the headpiece. But then I thought, why harvest when I can use? So I sawed off the sides so I could jam the whole thing into the headpiece. Actually, I got my dad to do the sawing. I'm not in my buff era yet. And what I'm left with is this incredibly fashionable hat that I think should be the hot new thing everywhere. This definitely makes the headpiece more secure, but it still wants to tilt forward and strangle me with the helmet straps. I wasn't sure what to do about this, so I just distracted myself by making these side speakers out of old plastic cups and this meshy fabric I got for free on the side of the road. Then I painted the headpiece robot beige. Except I couldn't mix up a paint that didn't look like flesh, and in possibly the most humiliating moment of my art career so far, I had to Google how to make beige paint. I feel like it should have been obvious that the answer was add yellow. Anyway, I also mixed in a bit of silver and gold paint to give it a nice subtle sparkle. And then I had to face the problem of the heavy tablet again, and after much deliberation, I decided to rig up some kind of harness attaching the back of the helmet to my body. I found a random strap in the laundry room and this buckled belt from the thrift store and threw together a basic harness, and well, it worked, but I can't show it to you yet because we aren't at the reveal yet. So let's move on to the hat. I found this hat in the thrift store. It's not the same as the one Momo wears, but it is an Asian farmer hat nonetheless, and I was going to buy it before I discovered it was $35. Is this not a crime in a thrift store? For a hat that's in the normal hat section? I didn't buy it. But a few days later, my parents excitedly told me that they saw the exact same hat at a local Asian market for just $7. It's still not Momo's exact hat, but hey, I'll take what I can get. But when I got there, I was treated with this incredible sight. And now it's time for the gloves. I didn't want to go too far with the rest of my outfit for comfort's sake, but having bare hands would break the illusion that I'm not a robot, so I decided to make some gloves. I salvaged the black Halloween gloves from my xenomorph costume, which I made in university. Then I made these finger joints out of foam and painted them with the same robot beige as the headpiece and glued them to the gloves. But I couldn't use hot glue because it didn't want to stick to the fabric, and I had a hard time with my trusty craft glue because it seeped through the fabric and glued the gloves to my hands. So I borrowed this jar of some kind of contact adhesive, and wowie, this stuff was quite fumey, but it got the work done, and this is how the gloves look. And this is how the gloves look with a cat. Speaking of cats, I needed a cat. Like, this costume just simply is not complete without the titular stray cat. I set about searching for an orange cat doll in every thrift store I visited with the intention of making it into some kind of bag I can carry around the office party that I still thought I could attend. But just like the flamingo shirt, orange cat dolls are surprisingly hard to find. Most of the time, I just get tigers or cheetahs or Garfield. Briefly, I did consider just making my own cat doll, but furry fabric in tabby cat orange was also weirdly hard to find. I did come across this cat at the supermarket, which would have been perfect, but I didn't want to spend $25. You might have figured this out already, but I don't like spending money. One day, I finally came across this cat thing. It's not exactly orange, but it's close enough. But I didn't buy it right away because it was a machine cat. As in, there was machinery inside, and I wasn't entirely sure I could remove it all without destroying the cat. I left the thrift store without it and immediately regretted it when I realized I might not be able to find another orange cat before Halloween. So a few days later, on discount day, I went back and it was gone. It was gone and I was sad. But I did find this. This cat was originally from Build-A-Bear, and it came with a Halloween-themed t-shirt that I could give to Baby Yoda. It's all coming together. Given that the cat is from Build-A-Bear, I knew that there had to be a hand-stitched hole on the back where it got stuffed in store, and I just had to find that piece of thread to cut. But also given that this cat is extremely furry, I had a bit of a hard time finding said thread, but eventually I came across a bit of stuffing leaking out and followed it to the thread. I opened up the doll's back and pulled out its stuffing, which was quite a painful experience. I am so sorry. Guys, I found his heart. There was also a sound box inside its arm, and I was curious as to what sound it made, but it seemed like the battery had exploded inside the case. Based on the words on the box though, it's safe to assume it's cat sounds. I made a little pouch for the lining and sewed that into the cat with a zipper. I also got this pet harness to represent the cat's vest, and so I could attach a bag strap. At this point, this is what the whole ensemble looked like, and it took less time than I thought it would, but I'm also not very happy with it. For one, even though the bag was technically big enough to fit my phone, putting it in and taking it out was quite difficult. For two, once I put the harness on, it just straight up blocked the zipper, so like it was just useless as a bag. But I'm too chicken to cut a new zipper hole along the top of the doll's head, so I just moved on to plan B, just straight up attaching the bag to the cat. And also making a new harness so it looks more like the one in the game. I did some stuff to some fabric, and I made this harness and also a bag, and I had to make my own bias tape, and I gotta say, this has got to be the worst sewing experience I've ever experienced. But once it was all done, it looked great. As long as you don't look too closely at it. I also added some badges that I made out of clay, and they turned out so stinking cute. So I don't have any pin backing small enough to fit these clay pins, so I'm going to do something that feels illegal but isn't. And that's using these Canada Day pins that I've had since forever. I did a quick little costume test to make sure I didn't need anything else, and I really liked how everything came together. I was satisfied with it, and now here's the final review.